Coffee and the time that created world history. Over coffee's centuries-long history of becoming the second most widely traded commodity worldwide after oil, and a global beverage, coffee has been instrumental in building empires and connection and an industrial revolution. Sometimes it is the hidden driving force behind the rise of colonialism, slavery, and the Golden Civil War. Over time, coffee has changed the way people live, work, and interact. Next, the company S54 Coffee explored 6 ways to change the world of coffee beans. The globalization of coffee contributed to slavery after spreading to the Near East, North Africa, and the Mediterranean. The coffee trade reached Europe in the 17th century, as the beverage grew in popularity. Empires realized they could grow their own coffee using peasant and slave labor in their far-flung colonies. In the 18th century, British, Spanish, French, Portuguese, and Dutch leaders made coffee one of the top cash crops for the colonies, along with sugar and cotton and tobacco. From Indonesia to Latin America and the Caribbean, enslaved laborers were forced to grow coffee on colonial plantation. Colony of Saint French, Caribbean, Dominique supplied 2/3 of the world coffee in the late 1700s until the Iceland plantation were burned and the owner massacred in Haitian Revolution of 1791. The Portuguese even used more slave labor to create Brazil as the world's largest coffee producer. Brazil, the country that sent the largest number of slaves to the New World and was the last country in the Western Hemisphere to abolish slavery in 1888, made the coffee the center of its economy, its system, banking, as well as the political and social structure of this country. A few decades after establishing the first coffee plantations on the island of Java in the early 17th century, the Dutch created the first botanical garden in Europe in 1638. Lucrative trade from the plant coffee helped the Dutch dominate Indonesia coffee production industry. Thus, in the 17th and 18th centuries, Amsterdam became the coffee capital of the world. In 1830, the Dutch government went on to establish culture, Telcel, an exploitative farming system that required farmers to produce coffee instead of food crops that caused famine and epidemics in the 1840s. Indonesian historians call this colonial policy tanam paksa or forced cultivation. Coffee shops held remote public debate. Coffee houses first appear in Ottoman Empire, where Muslims abstaining from alcohol did not need to gather in taverns. Over the centuries and around the world, coffee houses have been key to establishing what some philosophers call public spaces, once dominated by elites that have gradually become public spaces. The masses more widely available to everyone. Back in the 16th century, the Turks who spread coffee throughout the Muslim world and then to Europe tried to close down coffee houses only to be met with mob opposition. The Bro Coffee crowd forced them to reopen. Coffee houses were the only communal place where men could gather and discuss current news, religion, politics, and gossip, while still avoiding the watchful eyes of religious authorities. Government in Europe, coffee shop patterns planted the seeds of new ways of handling the economy and shaped politics. The London Stock Exchange, Insurance Company, Lloyd of London, and the East India Company were established in the coffee houses. Also in London, coffee houses were known as college, penny university, because for the price of regular cups of coffee, customers can access ongoing intellectual debates. In colonial America during its time as a British colony, Boston taverns and coffee houses were a popular place for leaders of the Sons of Liberty met to organize the Boston Tea Party of 1773 and promote their revolutionary ideas that led to the war for American independence. French philosopher Montesquieu, who wrote the work of Des Lois on the spirits of the law and proposed many political and legal treatises as the ideological foundations for the French Revolution in 1789, considered that coffee shops can be harmful to the monarchy because this is where people exchange knowledge and discuss different political and social views freely and openly. La Ronto Cafe in Paris where exiled Russian revolutionary subjects Lenin and Trotsky met many times. Lenin also regularly went to cafes in Switzerland to meet exiled artists from all over Europe who gathered there. Coffee shaped the Industrial Revolution in 18th century England. When the Industrial Revolution broke out, workers in the new factories worked hard day and night thanks to coffee, or more precisely, caffeine in it. Everyone from the Dutch and Ottoman to 18th century Enlightenment intellectual recognized that the stimulant in coffee boosted energy and enhanced concentration. For dynamic manufacturing industry looking to keep factories running, coffee allows them to turn workers naturally sunlight-based sleep and wake time into clock time. Lock workers who used to take food breaks 5 times a day could now keep things going with coffee breaks, a labor mechanism that was a key driver in allowing the Industrial Revolution to spread to other parts of Europe and North America. Shorter work hours in the pre-industrial age didn't mean people didn't really need something to stay awake or maintain energy during long days. Most people drank alcohol throughout the day. The same way we drink coffee today, wine and beer has refreshing effects and help people cope with the physical difficulty of most jobs at that time. People, including children who often work in mines and factories, rely heavily on beer in their diet. Beer soup is even a popular breakfast dish. No wonder no one can work like this for long, as industrialization took hold. Working hours became longer thanks to electrification. People moved to cities or urban work, and round-the-clock living became a reality with quality lubrication in its cafe. This has made coffee popular as a stimulant that helps people work longer, adapt to night shift, and pursue more intellectual activities. The rise of coffee house proved to be fertile ground for artists, poets, politicians, revolutionaries, and even ordinary factory workers, as Mark Pendergrass writers. Uncommon Ground, the history of coffee and how it transformed our world. The dream of the aristocracy became the drug of the masses, and morning coffee replaced beer soup for breakfast.